Welcome back. President Joko Widodo ordered his cabinet ministers to set target to develop derivative industries for processing coal, hand in hand with setting agenda to reduce export of unprocessed coal.
The increase in reporting of annual tax returns is quite positive in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. In the 2020 spectacular event, Director General of Taxes Suryo Utomo revealed that the submission of tax returns in 2020 has increased from 12.8 million in 2019 to 13 million. Suryo said that the increase in annual tax notification letter submission in the midst of the pandemic is expected to be able to encourage and improve compliance in the field of taxation in the future. The General Director of Taxes also continues to disseminate information to the public regarding the implementation of the National Economic Recovery Program carried out by the government, including the provision of tax incentive.
Bahwa untuk tahun 2020, walaupun situasi pandemi COVID masih begitu luar biasa, penyampaian SPT tahunan di tahun 2020 alhamdulillah mengalami peningkatan dari 12.800.000 di tahun 2019, tahun ini dapat mencapai pada angka 13 jutaan.
The Ministry of Finance noted that the realizations of tax incentive is still low until October 2020. Tax incentive that have been distributed have not reached 30 trillion rupiah or have only reached 24.6% of the total budget of 120.6 trillion rupiah. From Jakarta, Rajo Patmo for IDX Channel.
Yeah, in short, President Joko Widodo asked his cabinet ministers to accelerate the development of the coal derivative industry. This aims to increase the added value of coal commodities, curb imports of industrial raw materials, and create job opportunities. The development of derivative industries or those included in industrial downstream activities must be considered as a big strategy. The question is Indonesia ready for that, and how is the condition so far for the derivatives? Therefore, live by Zoom, we are going to have further discussion with Hendra Sinadia, President Director of Indonesia Coal Mining Association. Hello, sir.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us here on Market Alliance. So talking about President Joko Widodo's order in terms of, developing a coal derivative industry in the near time. What is your perspective on this?
Okay, thank you. We fully understand the statement, the concern from President Jokowi on the urgency to develop coal derivative or coal downstream industry. And I think it should serve as a wake-up call, not only for the government, but for the coal miner itself. So for coal miners, this statement serves as a wake-up call that the trigger the industry to start exploring opportunity to invest in the coal downstream or coal derivative industry. While for the government, it's a time for the government to provide regulations and policy to support investment in the coal derivative industry. As we know that coal derivative or coal downstream, it requires huge capital and long-term and also highly risk. So it needs full support from the government at all levels.
Yeah. So since you're talking about the regulation that, so far that you mentioned that this derivative industry of coal in Indonesia needs a supportive regulation. So far, do we have sufficient policies to support that?
We've highly appreciated what the government has implemented. It is the first step. The government has introduced the mining law number 3, 2020, which provides some non-fiscal incentive in the law, especially for the CCOW company like to invest in the coal downstream. And also in the recently passed omnibus law that provides the fiscal incentive in royalty, 0% tariff royalty for the coal downstream. So this is the first positive start from the government. But we need, more comprehensive policy and regulation to support, to make the coal downstream investment to be feasible.
So in terms of omnibus law, this is the proactive gesture of government to give the sufficient policy in terms of developing coal downstream in Indonesia.
Yeah.
So talking about the readiness of the industry, talking about the the hope that had been delivered by President Joko Widodo. So is the industry ready to develop the coal downstream industry further?
The position is we are ready whenever the government ready to provide some incentives, and that we mentioned about it, incentive non-fiscal and fiscal, and also the roadmap. This is very important because we are going to embark to the new era of coal, transform coal from extracting coal for thermal coal-fired power plant, and then now we are going to transform the production of coal into more value added. So we are ready whenever the government ready to support with the policy and regulation that support the to make the investment economically feasible.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mr. Hendra, President Joko Widodo conveys priorities for development of coal derivative industry such as coal gasification or DME, and then syngas. Which one is can be prioritized by the industry, or which one is doable?
I think it's all up to the government because we are, as a contractor to the government, we are in the position to just to comply or follow what the government order us to do. So it's up to the government. But as I told you, that this is something that really new word for coal.
Hello, sir. Hello, Mr. Hendra. So talking about the readiness of coal industry to implement what actually President Joko Widodo ordered last Friday about the development of coal derivative industry, as Mr. Hendra said, that they are fully ready to implement what actually President Joko Widodo's request on them. And as Mr. Hendra mentioned, that they need actually comprehensive policies to support the growth of coal derivative industry. And right now we are facing the technical problem in terms of communication with Mr. Hendra Sinadia as the President Director of Indonesia Coal Mining Association. And our team is trying to reconnect with Mr. Hendra Sinadia to talking about the topic furthermore. Talking about the volume of production in coal in Indonesia, the number is quite large. Indonesia is actually well known as a coal exporter, and the raw coal export year by year, the number is pretty much big. So the request of President Joko Widodo to minimize the number of export volume of raw coal will be implemented by the coal industry players by maximizing their derivative industry. So, Mr. Hendra, you're back on the line.
I lost you. Sorry.
Yeah. We kind
the line is cut off. Sorry.
We was losing you for a moment. Okay. So the readiness of the industry, you said that actually depends on government, correct?
Right, yeah.
So what is the next communication, or what is the next efforts that will be done or will be implemented together with government to realize what actually President Joko Widodo had ordered last Friday on the coal downstream industry?
Yeah, I think so. We need to have some comprehensive roadmap on the coal derivative industry, yeah, because it will be a long-term investment, and it requires support not only from the Ministry of Mines, but also other ministries, especially like in Ministry of Industry, Ministry of Finance, and other sectors. So it requires comprehensive roadmap. And also, we need to study on the market, potential market in the future, how to create the market. So the roadmap, comprehensive roadmap, is very urgent at this time. At the same time, the government also is drafting a draft of the government regulations on the implementation of the law number 3/2020. So this is something that going parallel. And we also have been invited by the government to provide the input on this. So we are ready to cooperate with the government to provide constructive input to make the investment in coal downstream feasible.
So one of the most important thing is the cooperation between stakeholders to develop the coal downstream industry. Mr. Hendra, thank you very much for joining us here on Market Headlines. Good luck for you. And stay with us on Market Headlines because we'll be right back after this break.